Nobody knows. Nobody ever heard of the Guess Who?
No.
Guess who? Yeah, okay, yeah.
The Guess Who, not the Who. The Guess Who.
Guess who? Yeah.
Really, I love. They have about 4 or 5 hits. They're one of my. I love oldie moldy stuff. I am not your hip hop connoisseur. I'm sorry. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning. I'll try that again. How is everybody this morning? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good. I see Martin in his car there.
Yep.
Mr. Cash Offer, Dandy Randy, George, Bailey, the new guy. How you doing, Bailey? Would you like to do a 20-second introduction?
Oh, I can talk. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Yes, there's an unmute button there.
I tried to do it. It wasn't working for me, so I'm glad you got it working. Hey, everybody, glad to join the group.
Tell everybody who you are, where you are, and what you want to get out of this eclectic, good-looking group of people here.
Sure, indeed. So my name is Bailey. I'm in the northwestern Chicago suburbs, originally from Texas, lived all over. Been in sales a while, but just looking forward to learning from the group and retraining my mind to ask better questions and get to the point better. And looking forward to getting back into real estate too, and looking forward to that knowledge and getting that going.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Who else is here who's new? Noe, you want to say hello? Turn on your video and say hello.
And I'm in the Inland Empire in Southern California. And I've been doing real estate for a while now, and I'm just trying to learn more of the sales techniques Claude has it, and from the group as well.
All right. I'm glad you could join us, Noe. How about Jerry? Is that Jerry Moyne? I think so. Okay, he's muted anyway. And somebody has their iPhone on, and we're looking at their ceiling. It's there you are, Ani. Let me see if I can unmute you there, Ani. There you go.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, good. Look, there's your beautiful better half there.
That's right.
Oh, look at that nice bell. I like that. Oh. That's loud. I think Noe just flushed the toilet. And everything. Well, good. Before we get started, got a lot of things to talk about today and go over. Anybody got a killer deal they did over the weekend, last week? Anybody has a deal they want to share with us? Who wants to brag? Who learned a lesson? Who had a failure that they learned something from, or a magnificent success story that will motivate all of us? I turn over the floor to the group. I'm hearing crickets.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay.
This is a lesson learned. I put out a proposal to a customer, and I was slow getting back to him. I get back to him like a week. I knew he was waiting on the product. I got back with him, and he said, "Oh no, I've already taken care of it anyway."
Okay, Randy, your audio is a little weak, but it sounded to me, I'm going to summarize, it sounded like you had a potential customer, but you didn't get back to him fast enough, and you lost them. Nod your head if I'm sort of on target there. How fast should we get back to people? Part of guts, I think, is quick follow-up. I think sometimes we leave a lot of positive suggestions in someone's head. We didn't close them exactly. I like sending a contract or a letter of intent immediately. And how soon should we follow up with people? Should we make another appointment right away, or just follow up as soon as within 24 to 72 hours, depending, I guess, on their score, their barometer score? What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, depending if you've got them motivated and they're like a 7 or an 8, then you got to follow up within 24 hours, or set the appointment when you get done. When you give them the preface that you're going to be sending over a contract or a proposal, I'm sending it over now. Can we discuss it tonight at 6 o'clock? Is that good for you?
Yeah. Very well said, Martin. It depends on the level of motivation. If they're an 8, 9, or 10, there are like 10,000 angels dancing on the head of a pin. They could go either way. You either have to do a dramatic guts move, okay, and say, I have made a decision. This is what you need to do. It's okay to say no to me, but let's fix this problem now. You can do something dramatic and intense right away. I love your smile there, Audrey, that Cheshire Cat smile. I love it. Or you send them a contract, or you send them a video follow-up, or you send them a little gift in the mail. Audrey has a great story like that. Do you remember that one, Audrey? I'm unmuting you.
I do remember, because that is now a friend of mine and a client for, I think, for at least the foreseeable long-term time. Yeah, that's thanks to, well, Claude's really the one that suggested it, but I sold that lady an expensive home, and she's lovely, and I'm grateful. I sent her a gift. She didn't forget.
Okay, yeah. What did you send? You sent her a little personal gift, or?
I did. I knew she was looking for a house. She was getting rid of her condo. She was looking for about 8 months, and then she's, not to get religious, she's Jewish, and Claude actually suggested it, honestly, and I bought her a mezuzah, a nice one, and I sent it to her, and she never forgot.
I had a client once, an Italian Catholic client, and she got a new house, and I sent her, I forgot, I think it was a St. Joseph or something like that, and they bury a little statuette, and they bury it up. Somebody help me with this.
St. Joseph. You bury him upside down, facing the house.
Yes, and that meant so much, and this little thing cost me $20, and it meant so much to her when I did this.
So the mezuzah is the little prayer box that you put on your door jamb?
Yes, the thing that goes it's slanted, and inside is a Torah, and she never forgot that. But the other thing is I really feel that what I think people want is, I see so much, and I've been guilty of this. I try not to do it as little as possible now, if at all. People, agents or whoever, people that want business, they're just talking, not listening. And I think if you just stop talking and listen, people respond to that, because a lot of people are not heard today. They're just talked at. And I think it really makes a big difference. I had someone tell, I just think it makes a huge difference. Anyway, it was just the right connection. But I've also sent something to someone and nothing ever happened. So there is the flip side of that.
I think, though, the right gift at the right time, and it doesn't have to be expensive, does it?
No.
It doesn't have to be an Apple Watch or something like that, but just to show that you took the time and trouble and cared. Okay.
Well, it creates a little obligation.
I'll give you Phil Dougherty, one of my new clients. You've seen Phil on these group calls. I think he's traveling to Florida today. Phil lives back east, and Phil sent me overnight a dozen bagels from a local bakery, and I'm so in debt to this man for a dozen bagels. Okay, just little. I think sometimes little moves raise that emotional equation in sales, where it makes you stand out differently from everyone else. Is it guaranteed? Of course not. But I think the fact, how many people really do little things like that? These are the little moves. I have one company in New York City, and they think I'm brilliant because I told them to write thank you notes, hand-addressed thank you notes with a stamp and an address on, not a label, a hand-addressed address. And one of my clients got to the CEO of a major company, and it resulted in the largest sale of the year because of that little thank you card. Just little moves like that sometimes can happen. Who else?
I think
go ahead.
Someone just wrote, a gift must not be a ploy, and I agree with that. But let's not pretend it's not a little incentive.
It's okay. Listen, it's part of persuasion. What's the number one way to get people to do business with you? They like you. And likability leads to trust. It opens up all the doors. That's right from Cialdini's book, The Psychology of Persuasion.
Adrian, there's a difference between a gift and a bribe. I think that's what you're talking about.
Right.
I don't know that I don't know that anybody would do business with you if they didn't like you. Have you ever had anybody that didn't like you that did business with you?
How about a doctor? How about a doctor who can make you healthy, but he has bad breath?
But that's not an expressed unlike on his part. That's you don't like him.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Has anyone here ever done business with somebody because they had to, but they didn't like them?
How about that video you played for us of Grant Cardone forcing himself on that person? Yes, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
They feel forced.
I'm talking about the reverse though, Claude. I'm saying that you have a customer and they will not do business with you if you aren't liked by them. In other words, they have a choice of who to do business with.
I agree. I agree for the most part. Likability is numero uno. Absolutely.
Well, Claude, I did a wholesale deal where I got along with the husband, but the wife and I just did not get along. She kept thinking I was trying to, put something over on her or whatnot. And honestly, she was trying to put something over on me. So it didn't, but it worked because I just kept in contact. And honestly, she was going to pull the deal the day of closing, and that was a little hairy. But I was able to pull it off. But the woman and I just kept butting heads. The one thing is I kept good relationship with the husband, so that kind of saved it.
I have a cute story to share from Max, my mentor. I once went to him and said, "Hey, he said, why didn't you do this deal?" He says, I said, "I have a personality conflict with this prospect. I don't like him and he doesn't like me." And Max, in his infinite wisdom, said, "You have no person. You give that prospect the personality they want. This is business. There's no personality conflict because when you get paid, it doesn't. All of that is forgotten." And I forgot that for years. Thank you, Steve. It just came back to me. You don't have personality conflicts with your prospect. You give them whatever they want within reason to make the sale at that moment or that time.
Yep.
If they're a Democrat, you become a Democrat. If they like chocolate and you like vanilla, you like chocolate. Whatever it takes. Okay. Is it hypocritical or whatever? Possibly. But in the end, when you get that check, how good do you feel? Am I being too much of a capitalist today?
No.
It's okay to correct me. It's okay. Anybody else? Who else has some quickie success story or something? Otherwise, I have a couple good things. Lorenzo, Fire Chief Lorenzo Hartwell. I'm going to unmute you there. This good-looking young man who protects everybody in Raleigh-Durham. Does everyone love a fireman?
Pretty much. It's hard to find someone who doesn't like a fireman. Good morning.
Good morning. Is that an advantage for you in your profession? Because firemen are, after 9/11 and after Katrina and everything, I've seen in the last, I think, 20 years, firemen were always cool, and everything. But I think they've gone up to another level now. Do little children come up and hug you and stuff like that?
Oh, always. And business-wise, it helps because in that initial phone call or the first few phone calls, when I bring it up that I am a fireman, a lot of people, that trust factor goes up. They know that, hey, I'm in the community, I'm going to be here, so I'm not some fly-by-night person. So that breaks down some walls, and then people start to open up. So it definitely has helped my business.
Do you think we need to use our professions or our experiences to win over people? Is that part of life? Is that a part of using likability?
Yeah, initially, before I met you, Claude, I never really talked about me being a fireman when I was doing real estate. But with a few conversations with you, you said, "Yeah, use that to your advantage." So I started doing it, and I followed your advice, and it's worked out perfectly. So I appreciate you sharing that with me.
I think, if you have a profession that protects people, you're a civil servant, you're in the armed forces, you're a police officer, why not use that?
Right. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it shows a level of, that they trust you already. I mean, it basically has a, I mean, people trust firemen. That's all there is to it.
Right.
And policemen.
Likability gets the door open, basically. But I think when you have trust, you have a blank check.
Right.
At that point, when you cross over, and think about your own experiences when you've met a doctor, a lawyer, a barber, a real estate agent, someone in your life who you just felt so good about. You just say, hey, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do, because I feel I have that trust. How important is trust in persuasion and influence? Everything, right?
Right.
Absolutely. What are some of the ways we can get there?
I would say delivering on your commitments. So if you make a commitment to call somebody at 5 o'clock, you call them at 5 o'clock. Or if you make a commitment to deliver a contract to them, you do it.
Reliability, keeping your word. That's a really good point.
Right.
Absolutely. Doing what you say you're going to do. Go ahead, Steve.
Just going to say basically, right, just do what you say. And that's the main thing is don't don't back out, or don't honor your commitments.
Yeah.
Honor your commitments, but don't back out of honoring them.
How many people here are upset if they're not on time for an appointment? I gotta be. If I'm like a minute or two late, oh my God, we gotta park this car. We gotta get it. It's I'm just like that. I got to share a little story with you guys here. A lot of interest. I'm an observer. I always watch people. I listen to other people. I want to see, how do people tick? How do things work? This is what helps me in sales. I had a friend of mine who I met at a party on Friday, and he told me about his 12-year-old dog. For those of you who watched me on Periscope on Saturday, I talked about this. 12-year-old dog, a black lab, a sweet dog. I've known this guy, and this guy loves this dog. He's divorced. This dog is his best friend. The dog goes with him everywhere. Okay, the dog swallowed some poison. My friend took him up here in the mountains down to Denver. It cost $5,000 to save this 12-year-old dog's life. Why did he do that? And would you do the same thing? Give me some.
Well, I spent $1,000 to fix my cat's leg. He jumped off. He was getting older. I don't know how he broke his leg, but he was limping, and it's like, you just do it. You don't really think about it. It's like the cat, your pet's hurting. But
$5,000. What emotion is going on when your pet is hurting?
Emotion. You hurt as well. I mean, if your pet's hurting, it's like you want to alleviate the pain.
I'm fascinated by this topic, though. $5,000 for an older dog, and there's such an affinity, such a relationship. Okay, dog is still chattel, but the emotional bond and everything like this. To spend $5,000, that's a lot.
Oh no, my friend just spent $12,000 on a cat. $12,000 to nurse that cat back to health, and she herself is actually very ill. And you know what? I swear that something about her spilled off into the cat. That's just my feeling. But the cat got ill, and now the cat is home and doing better. But $12,000 they spent.
But why? Here's the why is what I want here from you guys. Why did she spend $12,000? She had the money. She had a very strong emotional connection. But why?
Because the feeling was strong enough that it was stronger than the money.
Emotional investment.
Yeah.
Attachment.
Being
Her family. I mean,
an owner of 6 animals, 5 cats and a dog. I mean, just the other day, our cat got this rare pillow paws. His paws look burnt, and all 4 of them, and they were telling us all kinds of things, pretty much like that, the cause of this is another disease, and we would have to rehome him. And I'm like, over my dead body, like,
It doesn't
It
matter
just-
the
yeah.
investment to us. We will invest in our
Yeah.
family.
They're like our children. It's not
Mhm.
even a question. It just you just
Natural
do it.
love.
Well,
Yeah.
right. That's so true. I would do it for my son. If it was at $1.2 million, it wouldn't matter.
Exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter to us.
Money can always, money is common. That's,
Yes.
money is common, and money, you can always, but people and feelings and attachment is irreplaceable. And that's why people spend the money.
Here is the rule. I just put it in the text area. And this is real. And there's a reason I'm bringing up this story for you to use in business. Money is never an objection to doing business when the emotional need is great enough. Do you think these veterinarians know this?
Yeah.
Do you think it really costs $12,000 to fix that cat or $5,000 to pump the stomach of the dog?
That's the frustrating part. No, it doesn't.
How do we, using this in business, if we remember the $1 million rule, people make immediate business decisions emotionally. They just have to justify them later intellectually. That's part of your responsibility too. When the emotional need, but you know how we're always talking about painting pictures in the mind. Adrian talks about this, about telling stories all the time. If we can get these people so emotional, they will, we can get them so easily. Adrian, you want to just throw something in on that? When people get that emotional, do we get to their subconscious right away?
Yeah, I was just going to say regarding value is always subjective. And it's also regarding the cat, we all have needs that must be met. So some people have the need for love and they have a child. Other people have the need for love and they get a partner. Other people have the need for love and their significance of that love could be their cat. It could be the dog. It's the rarity that they're paying for. It's not so much the animals, what the animal is giving them and what they're projecting onto the animal.
Yeah. It's interesting. We just lost a pet. Okay, you might laugh at this. We had a little 3-ounce, 2.8-ounce conure parrot for 27 years.
Wow.
Okay, he just died in Claudia's hand one day. It was her bird. They talked all day and commiserated and one day he was having a little trouble with balance. She picked him up and he died right in her hand. If I knew I could have saved that bird and saved my wife all that grief and sadness, we had a sad house for about a week or so. I mean, it took a while before it diminished. This is a 2.8-ounce bird.
If you think about it another way, by saving that bird, you're judging yourself. You're basically telling yourself, I'm a good person. So what is that worth to you?
Okay. I didn't mean to belabor this topic, but when I heard about the dog for $5,000, I said, how can we relate this to business? And it's always back to the emotional control, isn't it? Absolutely. I have one other little story I want to share with you. A lot of stories today, I'm sorry. But when I learn from these stories so much, I'm always studying human behavior. I met another gentleman I know. He's 67, 60. No, he's almost 70 years old. That's right, because he had a birthday party a year ago. He rides bike. He's in phenomenal physical condition. You'd never know his age. He looks more 50 than 70. Okay, he's attempted to climb Everest 2 times already, and both failed. He got as far as the 3rd base camp. Everest is, I believe, 27,000 feet above sea level. Okay, a lot of people die trying to do this. He told me this weekend, another story, he told me that in March he's going to try it again. It costs $50,000 to go with a group to go Everest. Why is he doing? Why is a 70-year-old man in good shape who has the $50,000? It's not a strain. Why is he doing this?
Challenge, accomplishment.
Challenge. What is challenge? What does that mean?
Pushing yourself to the next level. A feeling of accomplishment. It's something different to everyone.
It's pushing yourself beyond the limits that you think you have. That's the whole reasoning behind the SEAL training. is that they train at a level that is beyond everybody else. And by the way, Mount Everest is 29,029 feet.
I missed by 20 feet. What did I say, 27?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. 29,000. I'm at 10, almost 10,000 feet here. I come run sometimes up to 14,000 feet. And I'll tell you what, you get these dizzy moments at this high altitude sometimes. And can you imagine almost tripling that?
Well, the death zone is from about 19,000 to 29. So the last 10,000 feet, you know, literally your body is eating itself while you're at altitude like that.
I want something, thank you for that. I want something deep here though. The word challenge to me is just, it's not enough. I want more.
Goals, goal meeting. He had a goal. He has a goal and he keeps going for it and he falls short and he keeps doing that to hit that goal.
But at 70 years old and $50,000 and it's failed twice, is there?
Goal.
But
it may not be realistic, but that's his goal. It's personal to everybody.
Yeah.
It's the emotion that he's going to feel.
What emotion? Help me out. What emotion?
The
desire.
The accomplishment of, you know, hey, I did it.
Desire of accomplishment.
It's also the value he places on attaining the goal, because there's always that saying, price is only an issue in the absence of value.
Say that again, Steve. That sounded profound.
Basically, the guy places great value on attaining Mount Everest, and when you place great value on something, the price isn't that. The saying is, price is only an issue in the absence of value.
How about Bailey? It looked like you wanted to say something before, right? I unmuted you.
Yeah, I was agreeing with what they were saying. I think it's his desire for that sense of accomplishment when he gets there is certainly part of it, and maybe also he just wants to try it again while he feels that he's still able to.
Yeah,
to push himself. That he wants to prove that he can do it. You know.
Yeah, and what if he wants to prove it to somebody? Just like how I want to prove it to my brother, who we haven't spoken in about 10 years, and I think there's an emotional pain and struggle too, where maybe he wants to prove it to somebody.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe it stems a lot further back that he has to.
I'll give you an example.
Proves
my brother doesn't think that I can achieve #1 status in real estate. I'm getting very close in my state. And I just have this mental thing in the back of my head that I cannot stop until I achieve that. So whether that's a vengeful thing or what, it's in the back of my head.
I think it's a really personal thing that every person is different. That pushes them.
Once someone 20-something years ago told me that I couldn't do something in business. That would never work. Okay? I'm not going to mention his name. He was pretty well-known person, publisher of a real estate magazine. And he told me my idea wouldn't work. And guess what that did to this personality? Guess what it made me do?
It would be harder.
10 times harder. I'll prove his butt wrong. You know? And so let's relate this to business now. So can a personal challenge, can we use that in sales, or can we use it for ourselves when we set reasonable or climbing Everest at 70 years old? Is that a reasonable goal? I don't think so. It's probably been done. I think the world record is an 80-year-old or something like that. But how can we use that for ourselves? The challenge. How can we impose challenges on ourselves? Is this a good thing? Is this something we should be doing?
Yes. That's how you grow.
Writing out your goals, reasonable and unreasonable.
Okay.
Steps.
Yeah. I'm fascinated. I'm sorry to share all these little stories, but I'm fascinated by what drives people, the behavior, the psychology. What makes one person want to do things when one other person is thinking about eating prune juice and collecting Social Security, and another one wants to climb 29,020 feet. I'm in awe of people like this, you know. So I think there's a lot to be learned from different things like this. Anybody want the last word on this topic before we move on?
I was just going to say that just knowing the distinction between probability and possibility. Like if I was going to go doing a Mount Everest, I'd want the probability and see how likely am I to get there. Now, from this man, he probably has the experience to back it up anyway. So the possibility and probability distinction is huge, even in sales, even because what's probable and what's possible. So there's lots of things that are impossible, and understanding the difference between what's probable and possible is a big thing.
Yeah. I think I'm a runner. And I think there was once a time when they didn't allow women to run marathons. Okay. Kathy, I forget her name, Gibson, something like that. She was the first woman to run the Boston Marathon. They didn't like women. They were scared women were going to hurt their internal organs by running marathons. Guess who are where there are more runners today than ever before. There are more women running than men now in these marathons and races a lot of times. Isn't it amazing? So things can change, right? So even if the perception at the time, the conventional wisdom is wrong, there are still people who can prove it right.
I'll go you one better than that, Claude. I have a female friend that runs ultra marathons of 100 to 120 miles.
Wow. Yeah. Which is unthought, which to most, I have a friend who does that too. Paul Johnson, he ran the Leadville one last year, 100 miles over several mountains, over 14,000 feet in rain and snow and everything. And he did it. And the thing about that, what drives a person to want to do that is just fascinating to me. Let's go to the topic at hand today. Do you think we're too predictable in sales? Do you think the prospect knows what we're doing before we even do it ourselves? How do we avoid being predictable to the prospect? Do you think we go on automatic pilot too easily? In some cases, what are some things we can do?
I would say any of the guts moves, the takeaway, let me ask you one question before I get off the phone. Any of the guts moves that you teach, I think it's almost like a pause. It kind of shocks the conversation. It's almost like an interruption that they, what just happened?
Do you think we can get their attention when we shock them by doing something unconventional or something much different than our competition? Is it a dangerous move? Would people maybe not like us by being unconventional or doing things that not everybody else is doing? What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely. You stand a chance to not be liked. I've used it before with foreclosures. Hey, you got a problem, sir. Well, what do you mean? That's no way to talk to me. You don't call me and say I got a problem.
I love that. Well, how did you handle that, by the way? Well, what do you mean I have a problem? That's rude. No one ever talks to me like that.
Well, sir, would you like for me to tell you the truth or you want me to lie to you, sir?
Well, you better tell always the truth, but no one's ever said that to me before. What kind of realtor investor are you?
Well, sir, my name's Chris. I basically consult with people on how to save their house or save the equity in their house. You're going to lose this house on September the 4th, and that's unnecessary. If it was a way to save it, wouldn't it be worth talking to me for 2-3 minutes?
Well, what do you mean I'm going to lose my house? Who are you?
Again, sir, I'm Chris Scott. I'm working with a real estate company here in Dallas.
Give me a cookie. Give me a stroke or a nurture. Give me something.
Okay.
Give me a cookie. I'm all emotional. I'm all mad. Now start winning me over a little.
What's a good cookie in that situation?
You know what, sir? If I was in your position and a crazy guy like me called up, I'd be a little upset too. So I don't blame you. I'd feel the same way. But you know what? You're going to lose your home, sir. And what I do is try to solve people's problems. I think how many years you've been in that home, Mr. Chris?
I've been here 10 years.
10 years. You raise your kids. You make those little marks on the wall as the kids grew up. You've been in that home 10 years. You worked real hard for that home, didn't you?
Yeah. My kids, they love it. They don't want to go.
And now because of some economic setback, I don't know your situation. I'd like to help you today and maybe save that home. How do you feel about that? And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can fire me right now.
Well, I don't want to lose it. I definitely like to save my home.
Would it be worth us talking for a few minutes here? If I get enough information from you, I might have a few ideas where we can do business and maybe save that home, or at least mitigate the damage. Is that all right with you, or should I get lost?
Yeah, no, that's fine with me.
Boom. That's what you do.
Absolutely.
You guys can applaud. That was an Academy Award performance there. I'm begging for applause.
Hey, Claude, I think your line about you can always say no to me or you can fire me, that's very liberating.
Disarming.
Because that again is something that is going to set you apart from any other salesman. Nobody else teaches how to basically say no. You can say it's okay to say no to me.
Why do I do that? What's the psychological move? Why am I really doing that?
Well, you're disarming them. They're thinking, hey, I can tell you no, and that you're I call it calling the question. You're basically telling them in advance what you're asking for. It's okay to say no to me.
Well, when I say that, do you think I'm being unpredictable? It's something they've never heard before. Do you think they have an immediate response or reaction? Are they off balance when you do things like that?
Yes.
It's a thought disruptor.
Exactly.
Thought disruptor. Tell me what that means.
It means that they have a path that their thought is, they are pre-thinking almost. They have their defenses up. And when you say things like that they don't expect, it disrupts their pattern of thought and makes them think differently. And then you have the ability, you have about a 5-second window then
Maybe
to plant a seed.
What should be our next move, Misha, when we do that pattern interrupt or that, what did you call it? Thought disruption?
Ask a question.
Oh, I'd say, Mr. Prospect, I've got a solution for your problem. Would you like to hear it? Or should I just hang up the phone? Again, that takeaway. And now they're in the scarcity mindset. Oh, he's got a solution. I don't want to tell him to go away.
Let's hear a thought disruption in a role play. I'll give you an example. Suppose you have a really good prospect. Okay, everything, it's that wonderful. You're on a honeymoon. We're all singing Kumbaya and making s'mores, and everything is wonderful. But how dangerous is it to have a 8, 9, or 10 prospect in the first couple minutes? Where's the only direction that prospect can go? Down. What does the amateur salesperson do when they have that 8, 9, or 10 prospect? Where do they go right away?
Presentation.
Go for the sale.
Oh, they get emotionally involved, don't they? What emotion is going on in the amateur non-gut salesperson?
Greed.
Greed.
Who said that? Thank you.
They want the amateur salesperson's first action would be to tell you how great these are all the things I can do for you, Mr. Prospect. This is how great I am. Look at me. It's not about trying to find the problems for the prospect or identify their problems.
Exactly. And so what happens to the prospect when the enthusiastic, the 8, 9, or 10 prospect tells you, oh, this is the George, I love this house. You're a great guy. I love rent to own. Oh, this is the place I've been looking for. And you, as the amateur guy, start regurgitating everything you know about real estate in Raleigh, Durham. Okay. And what's going to happen to that prospect when you get too emotional and too aggressive and start asking for the order and all that? What's going to start happening in their mind? I'm sorry. What do you think's going to happen? I don't know if you heard me. What's going to happen in their mind when you're the amateur and you're too aggressive? What do you think's going on in their head?
They may think the deal may be too good. It must be a catch, or they start to back away some because you're too aggressive.
Yeah, they're going, whoa, this guy, this girl, they sound like they're making too much money. They're getting, oh, wow, I think this is the way people think. Oh, they're getting it too easy. They're making too much money off my back. Maybe I should shop around a little bit. I should do some price comparison and all that. You pushed them into that place. Now, what do you think the guts salesperson should do?
Redirect.
Who's going to role play with me here?
Redirection.
Yeah. Who's my volunteer? I want to see the guts. Where's that coming from? Who's gonna Ani, Chantel, was that you? There you go. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm the 8, 9, or 10 prospect. Okay, what is the pattern interrupt? What is the unpredictability you're going to do? We just met. I love you guys. Oh, you guys are great. I've heard so many good things about you, and I love the house you have listed and everything. Oh, what do we need to do here and everything? What's the gut salesperson going to do right now? I'm an 8, 9, or 10, and I could go down fast. How are you going to keep me? What are you going to do now? What's the psychology?
Well,
oh, look at that cutie.
Where are we at in the? We're 8, 9. Are we at the house? Are we on the phone? We baking cookies with the pills? Gosh, I know. So suppose I can get you this product.
I'm sorry, that was Noe. For some reason, I think I got some static from him. Or background. So say that again, Chantel.
So suppose I can get you this property, Claude. What would happen next?
Okay, that's a little. What I really want you to do, and I want you to go in the opposite way, or tone me down a little, calm me down a little, and maybe even go in the opposite way. Claude, do you really want to move this fast? Is this really? Do you need to home this quickly? Turn it around and make me start becoming the salesperson. Okay, go in the opposite expected direction. Claude, do you need a home right away? You're making this decision very fast. I want to make sure that this is a right home. This is an important decision. Give me something like that. Work it that way.
Yeah. Gosh, Claude, it sounds like you're really excited about this home, but I mean, are you sure this is something that you want to move quickly on? I mean, have you explored all your options? Sounds like you're pretty set on this house, but I mean, why don't you just stay at your other house? You said you were perfectly happy there.
You know, I've been there too long. I've been paying rent. I have good credit. I have the money. I checked with my banker. And a friend of mine told me that Ani and Chantel are the best things since the English muffin, since ice cream in Phoenix on a 116-degree day. And I just, you had a house listed, and I just think that's a great house, and I should just, this sounds great. I can't wait to buy my first home.
Yes, and we're excited for you too. Now, these payments, they are double what you were paying before. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, with double, I'm paying $1,200 a month. So you mean $2,500?
Yes.
If I put more, yeah, I don't like that payment. If I put more money down, could I reduce? I couldn't reduce that payment, could I?
I mean, suppose you do put more money down and
give me a cookie. Give me a stroke first. That's a great idea, Claude. Wow, I wish more customers.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Claude. Gosh, I wish more of our clients would ask that question. Because we want to make sure that you're comfortable at the end of the day and that you're not overextending yourself. So, I mean, these payments, they are double. Are you comfortable with that? And suppose we can get you to put some more money down to drop that payment down a little bit where it needs to be. Is that something you would be okay with?
Yeah, I think I'm ready and everything. And I can put more money down and reduce the payment and everything. What else do I have to do? Am I moving too quickly? Do I have to do how do I find an inspector and change the utilities? I've never done this before. I'm all confused.
Claude, these are such great questions, and I'm so glad that you're asking all of these questions. I definitely appreciate that. Don't worry. Ani and I, we're here for you every step of the way. I can assure you, all you need to worry about is just, focusing on packing your bags and focusing on your new home. So
do the same thing you just did, but ask it in a question. Don't make a statement. It was beautiful what you said. I just want you paint a picture in my mind. Imagine we could, Ani and I, we know the stress people are under. Suppose we took care of all these little things for you, something like that. Now, and then close me, just like that.
The other thing I'd be wanting to ask, though, is how much additional money could you put down? That's the key question. Is it 50,000? Is it?
Go ahead. You take over my position, George. You take over for me now. Go ahead. This is how we learn.
So, it's Audi, and what's your wife's name?
Chantal.
Chantal.
Yes.
So Chantal, I really would like to get into this house as cheaply as I can. How can you help me do that?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that. So suppose there's a way we can get you into this home with less money. I mean, more affordable payments with a higher down payment. I mean, what funds do you have for down payment?
Well, about the most I'd want to put into it would be about, $20,000. But like I said, the $2,400 a month is just not acceptable.
Okay, $2,400 a month, not acceptable. Well, suppose we can, get you to put some more money down. Don't worry, I'll have you speak with my trusted preferred lender. She's gonna go over all options with you, with putting more money down and with putting less down. Maybe there's somewhere in the middle that still works for you. But we'll get to
what kind of a transaction is this? I mean, I didn't think I was buying the property right away.
Oh, I thought we were. Sorry. Are you
think this was?
Are we not buying it? Sorry, I'm a little lost.
We have a new personality that stepped into the role play.
Okay, you're not buying it.
Am I the buyer or the seller?
You were the buyer. You were the enthusiastic buyer.
I got you. Sorry, I had a.
Okay, George.
and you morphed into the.
Well, George, just 5 minutes ago, you were excited about purchasing this home. So what happened?
Let's do. That was a good role play. Give them a round. Okay, that was good stuff. I like that. What are some openings we could do? Thought disruptions. Can we do pattern interrupts on the openers on a phone call? I love using them in cold calls. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no, I love using them in cold calls as well. I'm trying to get creative and come up with as many as I can.
Hello?
Hey, Claude?
Yes?
Claude, I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Why didn't that house sell on 123 Main Street? I
had the world's worst realtor or something. I don't know. He got his license off the back of a box of Count Chocula or something. He's the worst. Who is this? Who are you? Are you another realtor or one of those bottom-feeding investors?
Well, sir, I could be whatever you need me to be today.
I love that answer.
Absolutely.
That was really good. That was really good. That is a definite a pattern interrupt. That is unconventional. I love that. Now, one thing I always say, sales is dangerous. I'm coming across. I'm a little emotional. I'm a little aggressive. I'm a little nasty. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How are you gonna soften this whole thing now?
Shift it over. I'll say, yeah, I could be whatever you need me to be today, sir. I'm interested in that property. Is it okay if I ask you a question or two and see if we can do business today?
Well, real quick, because I got to pick up my wife from Taekwondo and then we're on a date to Jamba Juice.
If I could maybe provide you a solution that could get you a top dollar for that property, that's not something you want to do, is it?
That's what I'm looking for, but who are you? I don't know you. My mom said don't talk to strangers.
Well, my name's Chris Scott. I'm a real estate professional here in Dallas. I basically we're interested in buying properties in your area. I'd like to, talk to you a little bit about your home and see if we could work something out and maybe we can purchase it.
Okay, maybe you want to turn it around and say, why are you selling this beautiful home? Get me more interactive and away from the traditional presentation and the opener. And this is me. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm a private investor. I just walked on hot coals with Anthony Robbins for $10,000. I can really help you. Get away from that conventional stuff and say, gee, why? Just a quick question before I go. Did you ever hear me say that before I leave, before I go? Why do I do that?
To get them anxious about hearing what we're about to say, I guess.
But why am I saying before I leave? What am I doing?
Scarcity.
Possibly. What else?
You're in control.
I like that word. Am I showing authority and self-esteem?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then turn it around. Get me talking more than you. Get out of that salesman role. Make me into the salesman by doing this unconventional banter. Throw something. Claude, why are you selling this home? Claude, that's a nice home. Is this your home? You're living in it still? Where are you going to live? Why are you selling the home? Get me to start telling my story so I stay emotionally involved with you.
Okay.
This is good shit, isn't it?
Yeah. So let me ask you one more question before I get off the phone, Claude. Why are you selling this home? I mean,
and this is where they lie. The first answer can be the lie. So you got to listen very. Well, my wife and I woke up the other day and we just said maybe we should downsize or something.
So you just woke up one morning and just figured that you wanted to downsize and leave that beautiful home?
Well, to tell you the truth, and this is where it comes. You got to listen carefully. And you got to discern between the general BS they give you and the truth. Nobody wakes up in the morning, oh, we're just going to downsize today. That's not really the truth. So you want to get to it. We're both retired and the house is so big and the kids are grown up. And we thought maybe, we had a friend who reduced their mortgage payment in half by downsizing. And we were thinking of moving to Boca Boca, Florida.
Boca, Florida. Okay. So you already got a place picked out. So now you and your kids, if the money. Okay. Now
I gave you the clue. What's my real motivation?
The money.
Money.
Okay.
Talk about the money. Claude, and then paint a picture. Claude, tell a story. Claude, imagine if you reduced your expenses, would that give you a better lifestyle? Be creative here.
Got you. Okay. No, I understand now. I had a friend of mine who had several kids and they were in the house, the big house, huge house, and it just got overwhelming with those payments. So imagine, Claude, if you were able to get to Boca Boca, Florida and reduce those payments and now you didn't have that large debt that you have to worry about every month on top of your head. How would that make you feel?
Wow, that's the dream. If we had that little bit extra money, we would never have to. We've been worried about money for 20 years, and we just finally figured out if we could reduce our mortgage payment, we would have so much discretion, and we could play. I'm trying to think of that. What's that game with the beanbags? You throw in the hole on the thing.
Cornhole.
We could go to Boca Boca and play corn. What a great! I wonder who thought the name of that game. We could play cornhole all day, and that's a good point. So boom, now you've got me involved. You got me emotional. I'm thinking of my wife. I'm thinking of moving, saving money. Who's in control, Chris?
I'm now in control.
You are now in control because you did a completely different pattern than everybody else. Than your competition does. What are some other openers we could do here? I have, if you guys saw my notes, calling up people and saying something like, Chantel, I'm just curious about that house you have for sale. I was just wondering, it's not still available, is it?
Who are you?
My wife said that on our honeymoon. sometimes humor, self-deprecating humor, making fun, doing things completely off the wall or different. Sales is very dangerous. How about when you call up somebody and you say, "Oh, we have a celebrity in Zoom today. We have James the Legend Dunwoody in the house here. Say hello, James."
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. You're not driving while you're looking at us, I hope.
I've just been listening more. I thought I had it on mute, but apparently that got turned off. So,
James, what is your favorite opener for a cold call or someone you're getting back to? What's your pattern interrupt?
I don't really have a pattern interrupt. I mean, I usually just call them and say, you know, hey, this is James. I was just giving you a call. I see that you own a property at, 123 Main Street, and it's in an area I was looking to purchase properties in, and I didn't know if you might be interested in selling or not, and then just go from there. I mean, I don't really.
What about if you're the 8th guy to call me today. All you realtors, all you investors, what do you guys all read the same book or the same magazine?
No. I just saw that you had a property in the area and I'm looking to buy. So, if I'm the 8th caller, that means I'm the lucky one, right?
Okay, good. He's using his personality now. Very good. How's your business? Give us you're in the Midwest. I always forget.
Yeah, I'm in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yep.
How's the real estate out there right now? Still stable or?
Yeah, everything's good. I'm buying 5 houses this week, which is not normal, but I'm buying 5 this week. I've got a few wholesale deals I'm closing. Got some owner finance ones I'm working that I'm trying to find buyers for. Just got back from Hawaii.
I see the Aloha hat.
Yeah. I took the boys down there for 10 days or out there, not down there. So we're out there having fun, just kind of getting back and caught up. So.
Is the volcano still erupting?
Yeah, but that's on the Big Island, which that's where I was a few months ago when I talked to you. But this time I took them to Maui.
Oh, I love Maui. Do you think it's a good idea to go where that volcano is and to go into that area and buy land there now? It must be very cheap near that volcano.
Hey, I'd probably still buy some stuff out there.
You could probably get a good deal. Well, good. I'm glad you could join us today.
Just buying on the new land that they're building.
There you go.
After it cools down.
One of my favorite pattern interrupts is to call up somebody, skip the introduction, and say, "James, what the hell happened?"
With what?
Yeah, that property of yours. How come it's? I saw it's on the expired listings, and a house like that should have sold in a New York Minute. What the hell happened?
Oh man, yeah, I had this ding dong realtor promised us the sky. And we had to keep dropping it every couple weeks and still didn't sell. Now we're down to what we owe on it and we can't sell it.
Okay. That's one of my favorite openers. Another one is, hey, Chris, could you just help me for a sec? Excuse me, sir. Could you just help me for a second?
Help you with what, sir?
Good question. I'm wondering about that investment property you have listed. That isn't still available, or you're not interested in price or terms and doing a deal today, are you?
I'd be interested in doing a deal today if I get my price.
Okay, boom. Openers like that. I'm curious. Could you help me? Here's one of my favorites. It's an oldie moldy. Lorenzo, say hello.
Hello.
Hi, Lorenzo, Captain Hartwell. Why am I calling you?
I'm not sure. Who are you and why are you calling me?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, I got one of these little Post-its with your phone number on it. This isn't about real estate, is it?
Well, I do have a property that I have for sale.
That's it. How can I help you today? What would you like to see happen?
Yeah.
Boom. Is that a pattern interrupt? Is that what did Misha call it? A thought disruption. I really like that word, Misha. Is that something different to throw temporarily? Go ahead.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So these are all. So give me 30 seconds because we're done now. What did we learn today? What did we take away today? How to climb Mount Everest, how to spend too much money on a veterinarian, or how to be in control in sales.
And how to be a thought disruptor.
A thought disruptor. I love that. That's a new word today from Misha. Thank you.
Claude, I like your one when you talk about, do you have a, I have a blank check here. What's your name so I can put it on?
A Mr. Cash Offer. Is that with 2 F's or 3? Yes. Anyone else?
You definitely would never hear any other salesman say, "Why am I calling you?"
To me, that says everything about sales, self-confidence. You know, this is a lot of this, what we talk about here is about confidence. Having so much confidence. People love energy. They love confidence. It's attractive. As long as it doesn't get into that obnoxious area where you're bullying or intimidating people, I think they're ready to hear somebody different and they'll pay attention to you. How important is it to get people's attention?
Very.
Very
All you gotta
important.
do is get your foot in the door.
Get your foot in the door, and you can always fix it later. You can always say, gee, I'm really sorry. It's just my nature. I get it from my mother, or I got your phone number here, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you. Who are you? You know, you can have so much fun if you stay relaxed, and if you pay attention, and if your confidence it rises above what other people do. You guys were great today. What a good session. Give yourselves a round of applause. Have a great week. Make some money. Stay cool, you people in the warm places. George has a finger up.
Hey, Lorenzo, check the chat box and send me an email.
All right, will do.
Thanks.
There we go. Okay, guys, take care. I'll find some good music to go out here with.
Hey, Yanni, send me that shirt.
Before I put on my makeup.